In today's video I want to show you how to do an outside installation. What I usually prefer, if it's going to be a single camera, make sure you can accommodate 2 to 3 wires. I'm running conduit 20mm PVC and made a hole through the wall, and on the other side we're going to install the dome camera. Always remember, if you're not going to extend your pipe or use it for another connection later on, use silicone or use an end cap to seal your connection. You don't want any water running back into your pipe where your wire is, and that can cause wire damage. So just make sure that you seal the holes properly with end caps or with a approved sealer. After sealing the hole, you can put a little plastic cover back that's coming with 2 screws. You can just make sure you tied it up there. It looks nice and neat. And just also make sure it covers correctly so the water doesn't run into the panel. The other side of the wall, there's the hole. A wire is coming through. What we want to do now, we want to install our plastic mounting box. It's available on our website, https://mycctvshop.co.za. I'm going to show you how to install the box with the camera on the box, and I'm going to use a step drill to make the holes. When we remove the cover of our box, you'll see there's already 2 holes. That's to mount our box. So at the back we want to drill a center hole for our wire to come through. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it around and use my step drill to drill a hole through the plastic box for our wire to fit through. We can drill it down to 10mm, should be 100%. Okay, now I'm going to use the step drill and get the right 10mm I want. Okay, there we go. You can make sure remove the drill at any time to check the size of your hole. Don't oversize it. We don't want any unnecessary water to go in here. This is where our main connection is going to be, so our wire can now fit through the hole. Okay, now you can position your box. Make sure it's straight. You don't want a skew box. And you'll see the 2 holes there. So I'm using a 5mm drill bit, and you can mark your holes, number 1 and number 2. Then you can remove your box. Then you will see your 2 marks there. Drill it through and put in your fisher plugs. Okay, our camera connection box is now installed. Next step is to crimp our RG59 cable with a connector and a power point that goes to our camera. I'm just going to cut the wire a bit shorter. Okay, now what you want to do, you want to split the 2 wires. The one is your video feed, this side is your power. You will see there's a red and a black. Red is positive, black is negative. This wire will go to your power supply. This end will go to your DVR. Okay, let's continue. I'm gonna split the wire and show you how to crimp the connection and how to put a DC male lead on the power line. Okay, this is a BNC 3 piece. You can see that is the center pin, positive. That is the round sleeve, and that is the BNC connector. So it's a 3-piece connector. I'm gonna take the sleeve and push it over the wire before I use my wire stripper to clean up the wire so that we can crimp the connection. Here's my sleeve. I'm gonna push it over my wire. Why I do this first, if you use your wire cutter and you want to put your sleeve over, sometimes it's very tight to fit it over, so do it first, then you won't have a problem to actually push it through. Now we're going to use our wire stripper, also available on our website. Handy little tool that you use to strip the wire exactly the front end and your earth end. Wire stripper, very handy tool. I'm going to show you how to use it. Okay, the wire stripper. When you purchase the wire stripper from us, I will automatically adjust it for you. There's 2 Allen key holes for the blades coming down, not to cut the wire too deep. So I will adjust it for you when you purchase it, so it is perfectly fine. There's a little hole, finger goes through there, and then you start to spin the tool. I'm gonna try and show you like this. So you're gonna turn it around. I usually say about 7 or 8 times. You will feel it go freely, then you pull it to the right. Let me strip the wire, then you can see the result. Okay, there you go. It's exactly perfect. So what you want to do now, all the copper, braided copper, you want to push to the back. You will see if this end didn't come off, you can just turn it and pull it. It will come right off. Okay. You'll see the center pin is very important. That's the positive part of your wire, and the braided part is the negative part of your wire. Let me connect it and show you quickly. The center copper pin is gonna go over that copper pin on the wire side, and that's positive. So there's the copper pin. I'm just gonna push it over. A little tip, take your side cutter and just give it a little squeeze. That's to prevent it from being a loose connection. If you touch or wiggle the wire, the camera is going to go on and off. On the 3-piece, little tip. Now the BNC connector, you just push over, you'll hear a clicking sound. Perfect. Now you take the sleeve part. I usually press down on the front and push the sleeve over. You don't want it to push all the way out, then you have to refit your connector. Now we're going to use a BNC crimping tool, also available on my website, mycctvshop.co.za. So I'm going to use the 213 points at the back. It's the smallest one. I'm going to crimp, so I'm going to make sure it covers my sleeve and press down tightly to crimp my connector. Okay, then we're going to proceed to the DC male side to connect the power line. Okay, this is our BNC connector. Just inspect your connection as well, see if it can turn. Make sure that center pin is almost flush with the head, so it doesn't push back too low, then it won't make contact on your camera side. And check that the braided copper is not all over the place. You don't want the negative part to touch that part in the front. On the positive pin, you'll have interference on your camera feed. Okay, now this is a DC male lead I like to use. It's a manual connection, it's not a screw-on type. So what I usually do, I measure it directly and then I cut the original wire there to make sure the length is equal to my BNC connector length. Then there's no loops in the wire. I'm gonna cut it now and make the connection. Okay, the wire's been cut. I cleaned them. It's the red and the black. Here's the DC male. See, we're gonna connect them now. When you get a DC male lead, how do you tell which one is positive? There's no colors on it. Look on the side of the wire. It's got lines on it. That's positive. The other side is smooth. Go with the one with the lines on the plastic itself. That's positive. Now we're going to connect it. I'll show you how to make the connection. Okay, so I'm taking the positive wire, then I make a cross. Take it behind the positive, make a cross, and then I fold it over. Swing it all over. So you've got a straight line connection. Use insulation tape to isolate your connections. Don't leave it open like this. Use insulation tape. Make sure it's isolated. Do the black one. And then we're gonna mount the camera. Okay, the wire's been isolated. Now we're gonna proceed with the next one. Make a cross. Twist them over each other. Tape it. Tape the whole wire together as well. Then we are finished. Okay, now we're gonna take our panel with the step drill and make a center hole for our camera to fit the wires through. So this hole needs to be big enough to accommodate these wires to go through from the outside in. So make sure the hole is around about 18 to 20 millimeters with the step drill, and from there we're gonna fit or mount our camera. See, there's already 3 holes. We're gonna fit the DI250 AE36 5 megapixel AHD Eco camera, and it's got a plastic mount, so you will see there's a mark of a little stripe. There's the other one. You just turn it till they match, and you can take off the panel to get to the bottom part, the mounting feet. So let's proceed by drilling the hole. Then we're going to mount our 5 megapixel AHD camera dome. Okay, now I'm going to take my camera mounting box and I'm going to drill a hole with the step drill. I'm going to show you how to drill that hole. Find the center. You can hear that click. That's the first step. Second. Third. Okay, so that's our 4th step. And what I usually do, take it out, see the size of the holing. I think we're going to need a bit more. Just take your drill off hammer action. Make sure it's not on hammer action. There we go. That should be fine. Okay, now we're going to proceed with mounting the camera on the face panel. Okay, inside your camera box you will find the drill template, exactly what it says on the little sticker. It's a sticky sticker. So this is the exact dimensions of your camera. I just take it and slightly press on it, not too much, it's gonna stick too much and lose marks on it. So what I'm gonna need next, see, this is wood screws I use, very rough edges to actually tighten it very nicely. So I'm gonna take my screwdriver and make a pilot hole on all 3 points. It's just easier, you don't have to struggle when you have the camera in your hand to actually mount it through on if you're on a ladder. So make your pilot holes. So if you're in a different position on a ladder, or a difficult position is on an outside building, it's easier just to put your screw in and start turning. It should already be perfect to tighten down the camera's mounting site. This cover comes off and your wire goes through here. So this is exactly the template we see there, and we're going to mount this plastic mount directly on our box. First I'm just going to do the pilot holes and remove the sticker, put on my center bracket and tighten all 3 screws, and then we're going to fit it, connect it on our box outside. Okay, now I'm going to remove the sticker. There's my pilot holes. Just you can discard of this plastic. Now we're going to take our original piece and line it exactly with our holes. Take our screw, 1, 2 and 3, and tighten it with our screwdriver. Then we're going to proceed by putting the camera wires through the hole. Okay, there's our 3 screws, and the camera mount is secure. So you can proceed by pushing your wires through the hole so that we can mount the camera. All the wires must go through. Okay, now you will see on the bracket there's a number 1, and there's a number 1. Make sure they align. You can push it in, and then you can turn it. Perfect. Wires at the back. Okay, now we're going to connect our BNC on the camera side. It's got a dust cover on there, a protective cover. You can just take the rubber off, and that will show you the camera side. Okay, now we're going to proceed by connecting our camera to our BNC wire. Press it in and turn. Make sure it locked into place. Don't just push it in, turn it. Okay, this is our female side on the camera end, and we're going to join them together with our DC male. Press it in nice and firm and make sure it covers. Okay, now we're going to take insulation tape and cover both of the wires. The one I use is Element Titan, nice and strong insulation tape, just to isolate the wire. You don't want this metal to touch other metal, it will make interference on your video side. Okay, so wires are isolated. And now this is to change our format, or change from AHD to TVI, CVI or CVBS. Step switches with a selector. Your system is PAL that we use in South Africa. Now it should be 1 down, 2 up AHD. We have an AHD ready machine. Okay, now what's nice about these boxes, it's got nice grooves so you can tuck your wires in nicely out of the way. You can press it behind, so it's nice out of the way. And then we're going to close our cover and put in the screws. You will see with these boxes will be supplied with your mounting screws, and also plastic placeholders that you're going to put over the cover that you're going to put over the screw. It's going to give it a nice finish. I'm going to tuck in the wires and close the box. Okay, now we're going to take our camera. You're going to see it's going to match with the holes. Insert your 4 screws and put on the plastic covers to finish up your installation of the outside dome camera. And there we go, camera is installed. Thank you for watching, and support us by subscribing to our Demonstrator YouTube channel to watch more of our videos to do DIY installations of Provision-ISR cameras or any camera. Thank you for watching.